Hello, welcome back to the Boardgames 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, generally talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a game designed by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling, I think his name is. We're going to be talking about Mexica. And this is a game where you'll be building canals, you'll be building bridges, trying to get your Mexica or chieftain into the right district so you can found districts and build buildings that will give you victory points and will allow you to win the game. So in this video, we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like. And then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Mexica is still worth playing. How old is it? Still worth playing 18 years after it was first released in 2002. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. We'll see you after this. So, Mexica. How'd you play this game? So the aim of this game is to get the most victory points. It's a really novel objective, right? So the way you're going to be doing that is you're going to be firstly trying to found districts by separating up larger districts into smaller districts, which we'll talk about how you're going to do that in a little bit. And the second way that you're going to be able to get victory points is you're going to be building buildings and having the majority of different sized buildings in different districts, right? So everyone's going to be given 18 buildings. You'll be using some of these buildings in the first round, and then you'll be using the rest of them in the next round. You're going to put the canal tiles to the side of the board. You're going to be putting the action chips to the side of the board, and you're going to be putting the bridges to the side of the board. Then what you do, you'll take two of the canal tiles and you put them on the relevant spaces on the board. The oldest player will go first, and they'll take their Mexica or chieftain, as we're going to call it from now on. They're going to place that on one of the centre spots on the monument on the centre of the board, and then in clockwise order, the next player will do it, and the next player will do it, right? So this game is an action point selection game. Every turn, you'll get 6 action points to spend on different actions, right? So the different actions you can take, you can place a canal tile on a spot by following certain restrictions. You will be able to build or move bridges. You'll be able to move a bridge only if there's no bridges left to build. You'll be able to move your Mexica. You'll be able to build buildings, and you'll be able to acquire action chips, right? So at the beginning of the game, you'll notice that the game board is just one big island grid, right? And what you'll be trying to do, you'll be trying to divide the island up into different districts by placing canal tiles on the board, right? And then if you've got your chieftain in one of those districts, then you can found the district and you'll get a certain number of points for that, right? So the first action you can do is you can place a canal tile. And what you do, you take one of the tiles and you place it on the board, and this will cost you 1 action point, right? So the next thing you can do is you can build a bridge, and bridges cost 1 action point to build. You'll take a bridge tile and you'll place it on a canal tile. There's a couple of caveats with this. Bridges have to be built on canal tiles, and you have to make sure that the entrance to each side of the bridge touches land, okay? The next thing you can do is you can move your chieftain, and this will cost you 1 point to move it 1 space, right? It'll cost you 1 action point to jump onto a bridge, 1 action point to jump off a bridge, and you'll also be able to travel via canals and also the river around the outside of the board to another bridge. And you've got to remember that if a bridge is unoccupied and you reach it, you have to stop moving. But if it's occupied, you do have the option of going under the bridge, but that will cost you an extra action point for every bridge that you pass under. So you've also got the option to teleport, and this will cost you 5 action points, and you'll pick up your chieftain and you'll place him in any other unoccupied space on the board. So the next thing you can do is you can build a building. If your Mexica is in a district that's founded or unfounded, we'll talk about that in a sec, then you can build a building, and you'll pay the number of action points that is dictated to you by the number of pips on the building. So if you're going to build a level 4 building, it will cost you 4 action points, right? You get the idea, you ain't thick, are you? So the next thing you can do is you can acquire 1 or 2 action chips. This is basically a way to defer actions until you've got a clearer idea of what you want to do. So you'll just pay the action points and you'll take a disc, and that will allow you to use it next round, not in the round that you acquired it, right? And there's no limit to the amount of action points that you can have in the game. So the next thing you can do is you can found a district, and if your chieftain is in a district that is unfounded, then you can look at the district chips that are on the side of the board. You'll look at the number in the center, the turquoise number, and then you have to make sure that the district that you're trying to found is comprised of that many spaces, right? And what you do, you'll take the district token and then you'll place it on the board and you'll get that many victory points, right? So you will keep doing this, you'll keep building canals, you'll keep building bridges, you'll keep moving your Mexica around until all the district tokens have been taken and somebody has built all of their buildings in phase one, the buildings that are in front of them, right? And when that happens, what you will do, you'll go around the board and you'll look at the founded districts, and then the player with the majority of pips on their buildings, right, will then get the turquoise number. The second placed person who's got the second highest number of pips on their buildings will get the yellow number, and then the third player will get the white number. And if there's a tie, every player that's tied will get the same number, but you'll miss out the next lowest reward. Okay, and also there's also bonus points if you have your Mexica on the monument at the end of the round. So then what you'll do, you'll go into round two, you'll flip back over all the district tokens that you scored so they're ready for the next round, and then you'll take the rest of your buildings and then you'll carry on in the same way until, again, all the remaining district tokens have been used and one person has used all their buildings. You'll complete the round so that everyone's got the same amount of turns, and then you'll score the founded districts in the same way that you scored them in the first round. And then what you'll do, you'll look at all the unfounded districts, and then the player who's got the most pips on their buildings in unfounded districts will get points that equate to the amount of spaces that are in that district, right? And also, if you've got your chieftain on the monument at the end of the round, then you get five extra points, right? So after you've scored the game, then the player with the most victory points will be the winner of Mexico. If there's a tie, then it's the player with the most action chips. So what do we like about Mexica? So the first thing that we really like about Mexica is the dual nature of the puzzle. There's two routes to victory. Not only can you found districts and claim the district tokens, or what are they called, the Kapui tokens or something, or something that we can't pronounce because I got like false teeth. I haven't really, right? But you can get the points on the district tokens, or you can build buildings. But you can't do both. You can't double down on both aspects of the game. You've either got to do a little bit of the district tokens, or you've got to do a little bit of buildings, right? It's very difficult to find an equilibrium and trying to get one or the other, right? So the second thing that we like about Mexica is the action point system. Not sure if this was the first game that actually introduced this mechanism, but if it weren't for games like this, you wouldn't have masterpieces like Kemet that use the same kind of format. Right, so we do really like the way that it gives you quite a lot of action. I think, how many are there? 8, I don't know. But you can choose which ones you want to do. They all cost different things, and there's always get out clauses in case you get stuck. So if you find that your chieftain is stuck in a corner, you've always got that get out clause of the teleport, which is expensive, but you're never going to get stuck for something to do. So the next thing that leads on from the last thing that we said is that we really do like the action tokens, because no matter what happens, even if you've got points left over that you don't really want to spend, and rather than do something crap and just use them up because you just don't know what else you're going to do, you can take those action points and you can bank them and use them in the next round. And that's absolutely fantastic because you're constantly looking at people. So we played this other day, my wife had like 9 of the bloody things, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, oh, if I start spending all my action points now, she's going to come in and just mop up at the end of the game. So the fact you can defer actions really does add an extra layer of strategy to this game. So the final thing that we really like about Mexica is the way that this game allows the players to actually create the puzzle themselves. Because you think of it like this, you've got a blank canvas. When you put a board down on a table, you've just got a grid, and it's up to you to craft the puzzle yourself. And it's a constant sort of back and forth, push me, pull you thing. So somebody might rip up a bridge there, put it over here, and then you're going, hang on a minute, I ain't having that, I'm going to put it back over there. And the way that the canal system develops, it's always going to be different no matter how many times you play this game. It's almost like there's an infinite replayability value, and that's always something that we have to applaud when we're playing board games. So what don't we like about Mexica? So the first thing that we don't like about Mexica is this game can lead to what board game connoisseurs call analysis paralysis, right? We don't like sound bites or terms or anything like that, but that's what it leads to. Like when we played this the other day, my little boy was sat there staring at the board thinking, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Am I going to do this? And we're going, look, okay, right, we know that it's a brain burner, right, but come on, hurry up. And he's still looking at the board going, hang on, but if I do this, if I do that, and he's just staring at the board and we're sitting there like going, tapping our fingers on the table, coming, hurry up. And it does lead to a little bit of frustration, not only in the players that are waiting, but also the players that are playing the game, because you're thinking, I don't know what to do. And sometimes you just have to take a punt. And if a game of this nature, that's not always a good sign. So the second thing that we don't like about this game is that towards the end of the game, sometimes, well, quite a lot actually, it does end up with just a case of teleport, build, right? Because there's no canal tokens left, bridges aren't going to help you, and it's just a matter of getting into that spot, trying to get as many buildings down as you want. It's almost like the game builds up, you've got all this planning and all this articulation in how you're going to get this canal system going to the best of your ability, and that's going to benefit you the most. And at the end of the day, it's just about dollop, chucking down buildings and hoping that you're going to get the majority of it. And it's a little bit of an anti-climax. So the third thing that we don't like about this game is the fact that it's sometimes very difficult for people with pea-sized brains like myself to remember how many actions they've taken, right? And there's been a few occasions where I've been thinking, well, I've got into that sort of AP thing, right? And you think, well, hang on a minute, how many actions have I taken? And you've got to trace back what you've done. It's like, well, I put the bridge there and then I've done that. And you're thinking, and it does get a little bit confusing. So what have we done to alleviate this intense form of anxiety is to actually give somebody a die, right? Because you're going to be getting 6 action points and there's 6 pips on the die. It works wonders, right? So every time you take an action, you just you move the die to the next thing. And then if you have got action tokens, then that makes it even easier, right? So there you go. If you do find yourself forgetting how many action points you've used, use a D6. So the final thing that we don't like about this game is that it may be too abstract for a lot of people. And the theme, it's there, but it's so weak. It's like Mr. Muscle trying to do a bench press in Dorian Yates' gym. Yeah. If you're not into these sort of themeless or weak themed Euro games, this isn't going to be the game for you. Luckily, we enjoy these types of games, so it's good for us. But we have played this and there's been a few complaints that the theme is lacking and it's just a brain-mashing exercise in frustration. So just bear that in mind. So to summarise, is Mexica still worth playing today and in the future? So we are going to say yes. This is an admirable attempt at an abstract puzzle, and one of its strengths is that it allows you to create the puzzle yourselves. Yeah, the actual puzzle isn't actually hard baked into the game. You've got the option of creating different paths and different ways of playing a game each time you drag it out. Will suit Euro enthusiasts rather than Ameritrash fans. Obviously, if you're into all this sort of Descent stuff, Imperial Assault, all that sort of stuff, maybe this isn't going to be the sort of game for you. But if you can get over that, then there really is some really, really good choices in this game. It's going to put your brain into a blender and spit it out at you. And it's going to hurt. It's going to give you a headache. It's going to give you a migraine. You're going to need codeine to play this game. But like we said, if you can get over that, you're going to be richly rewarded by Mexica. It's one of Wolfgang Kramer's and Michael Keesan's best games. It's actually part of a trilogy called the Mask Trilogy, right? You've got the other ones are Java and Tikal, and there's a fourth unofficial part. I think it's Torres, is it? Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but there you go. That's Mexico. We're going to give this 4 out of 5. It's quite an enjoyable abstract strategy game, so there you go. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. We'll see you next time.